Everyone, I had a theory video idea for trading card games and just creation in general, and I think it could be a very fun topic to discuss. I'm not really making it for everyone because, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. I don't really care. I just think this could really help a lot of people whenever they get stuck making their TCG and they're even wondering why this theory I talk about could really help you. It's not really a theory. It's basically just talking about Sigmund Freud's iceberg, but connecting it to TCGs kind of makes it a theory in a sense. Yeah, I think you guys can get a lot out of this for those who actually want to listen. So why should you know what I'm talking about in this video? You might be wondering, dude, it's just a trading card game. It's not that deep. And yeah, on the surface, that's understandable. That's fine. But I think there's a lot of things that you can learn to help you keep going with your card game. Understanding that and building off of this video, will lock your reason in for even making a TCG, and accepting all the elements of the personality iceberg will really, make sense of a lot of problems and basically confusion you have in your head about making a card game. So Sigmund Freud's iceberg is basically made up of the id, the ego, and the superego. Okay, so let's talk about the ego. The ego, as it applies to your trading card games, is your rationality and your self-worth. Basically, your self-meaning, your reason to make the card game. Basically, it's not like that selfish, but it is mainly focused on why you want to do it. So, for example, let's say you're creating a card game because it gives you meaning, it gives you purpose. Boom. That is a great example of ego. So basically a little bit more selfish version. Then you have your superego, which is your moral compass. Okay, so for example, how would the superego apply to your meaning of making a TCG? This would usually be like, oh, I want to inspire others. I want to build a community. It's what you basically want yourself rightly to think when you're making a TCG. So ego, more selfishly, your selfish reason. Superego is your more, I guess, right version, how you want to be perceived by others, in a sense, like how does this help the good of people? And then there's the id, which, a lot of people don't like to accept this and basically just ignore this fact, but usually there is more of a selfish, deeper, pleasurable desire to making a TCG. And for example, this could be, okay, you want to make money, but usually you wouldn't tell people that when you're making a video about your cards. Or maybe it's you want to be respected and become a very valuable member in the community, and you don't want people to just tromp all over you. You want that power of being a big creator. Basically, you just want to gain respect from others through your card game. So that could be a selfish reason. So these three reasons are very important to know because, or Sigmund Freud's iceberg, because let's say you basically just have no real reason to make your card game. You're just making it because, you thought it was a good idea. You tell yourself that you're making this card game because it makes you happy. Well, okay, that's cool. That's a meaning. But what happens when the game isn't fun and doesn't make you happy when you're making it? How are you supposed to find other meanings that will make you want to make it more? Having something that satisfies all three of these, having a good balance between these three elements, will allow you to, if one of them is struggling, you can just focus on the other two. So yeah, you might not like that you have an id that is making you want to make the card game for a reason, but coming to terms with it and satisfying it a bit, or at least having some sort of balance, don't just be completely selfishly centered on making your TCG, or don't just completely make it just for other people. There's got to be a reason, something that satisfies you, because you got to be realistic, and that's kind of your ego talking. You got to have a good balance in between those three things. So for example, what would be the ideal TCG, at least in my eyes, that would satisfy these three things? Okay, well, the reason I'm going to be making my card game for my superego reasons is because I want to inspire others and grow a community. Boom. My ego reason is because I want to find meaning with my card game. I want to pour my emotions and thoughts into this TCG. And I also want to transform the medium. Boom. Third reason, my id reason, the selfish desire. I don't really like talking about this because, it's uncomfortable to acknowledge your id reason for making a game. But to be honest, I want to make this card game because I want it to be better than most other card games. And that sounds selfish, but, at least I'm accepting it. I'm not just putting up a fake mask that's only my superego. So I think finding a TCG that kind of fulfills these things and accepts that is really good. So then if one of them, hits a roadblock, maybe, let's say no one's respecting you for making your TCG, or no one's inspired by your game, you can have at least one other element to go back to and focus on. So that was this video. Again, feel free to blow up in the comment section, say what you want. I can always learn from what you guys say too. Just having an open mind is really good when I think it comes to creation, because if you're only like set in one way, what happens when your way is broken down and stuff? You got to be able to adapt. So that was this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.